I'm sorry, I really can't afford to be distracted. I need to get to the bottom of this. Yes, concerned is an understatement. I work for the scientific division of MAST. I've been studying this tree for quite some time, and it appears to be exhibiting some worrying signs. Are you familiar with this particular specimen? Do you understand its importance? Look, I have a lot of work to do here. If you're just going to gawk, I'd ask that you move on. If you can actually assist me, however, I would appreciate it. I don't normally solicit help from random passersby, but it seems an exception is necessary. Would you be willing to retrieve some additional data for me? Well, thank you. That's unexpected. There's a series of biosensors I've placed in various locations around New Atlantis, all calibrated to gather pertinent information. They've been running for long enough that I think it's time to collect and analyze their findings. If you would bring them to me, that would save time.
Moving. Hey, are you looking for eggs too? I've only found one so far, but I want to find more before anyone else does. So if you see some, can you tell me? Yeah, it was. Weird, right? Miss Seng over at UC Distribution bought the one I found, and she said she might buy more if I can find them. I could really use the credits.
They'll have our table ready soon.
I'm afraid, due to recent legislative action, I'm no longer able to allocate ships. I can, however, deal in general goods. Welcome to UC Distribution. Something I can do for you? Who, Jordan? That kid's in here every other day with some random thing he found, trying to get credits. Yeah, I took pity on him. Why, what is it? Oh, really? Well, you can have it back for what I paid for it, plus a little extra. Let's call it a convenience fee, shall we? I could, but I did pay for it. I'd like to recover my losses. And it's all the way in the back room. I'd have to walk back there, then back out here. You did say this was important after all. Honestly, it's probably worth way more than what we're talking about. Pleasure doing business with you. Back to it then.
Kill for a cup of coffee right about here.
Finally back with our son.
Are you working for that next technological leap? Then let me.
I need all of the biosensors if the data is to be of any use.
Any luck tracking down those sensors? So you do. Wonderful. I'll just take these, and we'll see what they have to tell us. All right, we'll just upload the data. Give it a moment. And just another moment. It is working, isn't it? Ah, there it is. What a relief. Now, let's see. This is... Well, it's... Oh my. Well, there's good news and bad news. The good news is that my suspicions were correct. There is something wrong with the tree. I will report my findings to MAST immediately with no small amount of satisfaction. The phrase, "I told you so," may even be uttered more than once. Yes, it does feel good to be right, particularly when others have attempted to convince you otherwise. Repeatedly. The bad news, as it were, is that the internal composition of the tree is changing. In this particular case, the tree is now regularly emitting ultra-low frequency sound waves. They're nearly imperceptible now, but they're growing in strength. This is something we've never observed before. Depending on how large these waves grow, consequences for the city could be, well, disastrous. I must consult with my colleagues in MAST at once. Thank you for your assistance. I hope these credits are adequate compensation.
variety of smuggling and theft. It has been very difficult to prove. The latest
Well, hello. You hear about the job by any chance? The officer over there can help you with any bounty issues. Part-time security officer. The position's very flexible. You can basically work whenever you're available. No pressure. We've had some gaps in the schedule lately. Macy's out on maternity leave, Jose's on loan to Sidonia. When it rains, it pours type of situation. So really, we just need someone to fill the void. Interested? Well, first things first, I have to ask, do you have any security experience at all? It sure counts for something. I mean, you're alive. And resilience is definitely an important trait for any officer.
Well, I think I've heard all I need. Your first assignment couldn't be easier. Go to Mast and check in with Agent Plato at Aegis. There was a package left at a dead drop, and they need UC security to handle it. He'll fill you in on the details. Let me know if you have any questions.
Glad to see you're back in one piece.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to see you.
Very good to see you.
You will be scanned as you enter the city. Please keep moving. Okay, no bounty.
The fewer people there are thinking about Aegis on a daily basis, the easier my job is. Ah, right. You're Sergeant Yumi's recruit. You're taller than I expected. Oh, it wasn't a compliment. Just an observation. In any case, let me fill you in. We have a dead drop that we think has been compromised. So I'd like someone from UC Security to handle the pickup instead. Take the package back to Sergeant Yumi, and he'll check it in as evidence before it gets routed back to Aegis. We think non-UC affiliated groups have their eye on it, and are using it to identify field agents. Normally, we just burn the location, but we didn't get this intel until after the drop. So we're going to need non-Aegis personnel to do the pickup to cover our tracks. Take the Nat to the spaceport. There should be a Galbank ATM right next to the station. The package is taped under one of the benches. Grab it and deliver it to Sergeant Yumi and the job's done. No. My parents would never have been so presumptuous. Every agent who joins Aegis gets to choose a pseudonym, pending approval, of course. I chose this for myself when I signed on. I have, of course, since learned that I am not nearly as smart as I thought I was as a younger man. I suppose none of us are. Good luck with the mission.
Another day, another credit. I'm so excited to see Tony after work. Oh, hi there. I'm doing great. How about you? Glad to hear it. Yeah, life is good, isn't it? I've been trying to save up enough money so that I can go explore the settled systems with my boyfriend, Tony. I think we're finally getting close. Really? Well, I guess you're right. I'm feeling a bit run down. I really love my job, but it's hard work and long hours. I could definitely use a Terracino from Terra Brew right now. Really? That's so sweet. I really appreciate it. Don't be a stranger.
Seems like a small decision, but they all add up over time, and it's paralyzing.
I keep telling them I am
Take
a
it from an
manager.
old
I should
buddy,
be
it's coffee.
managing.
Pick one, get out of the way, and let us get on with our lives.
Yeah, sorry.
Hi there.
Sure.
Hello,
No good?
and welcome to Terra. I don't know.
Certainly. Please take your time.
Will not make whatever it is you just said. Because this place is a disgrace.
Evening, sir.
How's the investigation going? Nicely done. It's really hard to find good help these days. That being said, my luck seems to be turning around. We've gotten a lot of new personnel as of late, not just you. Who knew all I had to do was put up a sign? Well, I have you now, so I probably won't hire another person for a while. Anyway, here's your payment. And if I have any more work for you, I'll let you know.
one day, I'm gonna leave New Atlantis for good. Oh, thank you so much. Soon I'll be coursing with bountiful energy. I'll be the most enthusiastic janitor in New Atlantis. Here, take this. I found it while I was cleaning. I figured you might find a use for it. Thanks again. I really appreciate it. See you around.
Can I help? Ron Hope was a real piece of work, wasn't he? Despicable is too kind a word. He held innocent people with little regard, treating their lives like numbers on a balance sheet. It's an absolute disgrace. I'm relieved to hear you say that. Letting him off the hook would have been a terrible injustice. Of course I approve. Had I been in your shoes, I would have done exactly the same thing. You made the right decision. I'm proud of you. Some of them will, and some of them won't. What happens to them isn't your fault. It's Ron Hope's. Well, I think I've lectured you enough. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me. We should have a talk, when you have the time, of course. Thanks for giving me a moment of your time. I promise this won't take long. I thought you deserved to know how proud I am that you chose to side with the United Colonies and put an end to the Crimson Fleet. You've almost single-handedly saved the settled systems from one of its most dangerous enemies. I can't possibly commend you highly enough. Did I mislead you into believing that somewhere along the way? Though I ended my service with the United Colonies years ago, I continue to remain vigilant as to what's going on within its borders. Anything that has a positive effect on the UC sends an equally positive effect through Constellation. Well, I'm not sure I deserve that, but I appreciate it all the same. What I want to know is what motivated you into making the right decision. You had Crix's legacy in hand, and you could have easily taken it to the key. Instead, you flew it to the Vigilance. The Commander is an overly ambitious man, but his heart's always been in the right place. I'm sure he appreciates everything you've done. So, no regrets betraying Delgado, then? I imagine you and he formed quite a partnership right up until the end. Agreed. With Delgado safely tucked away in a UC prison, things will certainly be quieter in the spaceways for a while. I suppose my final concern is how long this newfound peace will last. Perhaps my only concern are the reports that Navamora was never captured or killed. My hope is that she was smart and went into permanent exile. I suppose only time will tell. Ah, well, it appears I've soured the mood of our lovely conversation. I trust my mindless prattle hasn't been too much of a bother. Thanks for taking the time to listen. I have something I need to discuss with you. Thanks for taking the time to talk. I wanted to ask you about the artifact you found on Vectera. When you pulled it from the rock, held it in your hands for the first time, how did you feel? No, I don't think you understand. I know about the visions, the light, and the music. How did you feel inside? What were your thoughts? Oh my goodness. That must have been terrifying. When it comes to the artifacts, it never ceases to amaze me how the science, well, simply fails. Honestly, I wasn't sure how you'd react. Some people would consider what you went through a deeply personal experience. Good. We need all the help we can get. The artifacts are so different, so alien, and I'm certain one of them reached out and spoke to you. Quite the mystery. Well, judging from the fact that both you and Barrett claim to have heard music, I've made the leap that the artifact was reaching out. Music composition might not consist of words and sentences, but I'll be damned if that isn't an attempt at language. You were awfully quiet. Agreed. Unfortunately, there's no way that I know of to reply. And believe me, I've been trying to gather data on the damn things for years. Not much, I'm afraid. All I have to show for my efforts are eyewitness accounts, scores of inconclusive metallurgical test results, and wild theories. Oh, no, not at all. There's so much going on there, I can't afford to divert all of our resources, but I have classified the artifacts as a priority project. Does that really surprise you? A universal mystery left unsolved for God knows how long? Oh, I've been dreaming about solving this puzzle from the beginning. I knew I picked the right person for the job. Look, I wanted to thank you for taking the time to talk, and for keeping an open mind. And I also wanted to say, well, I'm pleased we're on this journey together. It's the best decision I've made in quite a long time.
It's been quieter around here ever since Vladimir went to live on the Eye full-time. Anything I can learn from is a help. Stay safe, okay?
Sorry, I plain forgot what I wanted to talk with you about. That girl. If Cora leaves her tools out one more time... I mean, I love her more than life itself, but I can only say the same damn thing so many times. That's Cora to a T. I mean, this is between me and you, but Cora wasn't exactly planned. I don't know if I mentioned, but I served a spell in the Freestar Rangers. Had a partner, Lillian Hartz. Well, we were like fire and ice, but, well, it wasn't all bad. She's one of their top rangers, so they keep her in the field a lot. That's how she likes it. Well, it wasn't by choice. It was a lousy fit. Maybe someday I'll get into it. I'm just happy I found Constellation. Best damn organization in the settled systems, you ask me. Understatement of the century. Hell, when Cora was born, I was completely out of my depth. For the first few months, I kept thinking, what a colossal mistake I made. Me, a father. But one late night, early morning, whatever, little Cora gave me my first smile. And I knew I'd do anything for that girl. Yeah, sure don't feel like it. And it's something you said to me. About parents wanting children to learn from their mistakes. Now that Cora's getting older, that's what haunts me. I've done things I'm not proud of. I said things even worse. I try to be better for Cora, but is she gonna fall into the same traps? Well, it's bad enough. Let me put it that way. Maybe. When she's older. I know it seems crazy, towing her across the stars, but I'm not exactly swimming with options here. Her mother... Like I said, another story, another time. And what, have her raised by Jacob, my dad? I'd sooner ship her off to Vladimir. I'll think about it. But for now, she's happy. You know, she just goes on and on about you. And if she just learned to pick up after herself, she just might live until she's 13. And when you get a moment, can we talk? You are straight out of one of those film noir novels. Working undercover and thwarting the bad guys. Just walking around the key makes my skin crawl. How'd you pull it off? Sistef put us in some shitty situations, that is for certain. I mean, don't get me wrong, helping Sistef was never on my bucket list. Commander Akande, he really wasn't as much of a tight ass as I was expecting. And ultimately, he had your back, so I guess here's to Sistef. You are a different breed than I, then. I just wanted to say, when we first teamed up, I had a good feeling about you. But this... You really helped people. Helped everyone. I can't wait for our next adventure. You got time for a quick chat? I'd appreciate it when you're able. The Freestar Rangers. You did their dirty work and then some. So how'd you feel wearing the badge? The reality of the job is dirtier than cops and robbers on the playground. Me, I never cared much for being a ranger. Too many of them try to force the world to be only black and white when it's anything but. Take Ron Hope. I mean, the guy's a legend. Before him, Polvo was a desperate, depressing place. Everything he did was to keep his people employed, to keep Hope Tech standing in the backstabbing world of megacorp politics. Sadly, it is. Tough calling what to do with Ron Hope. Taking his hush money wouldn't have set right with me. But I wonder what's gonna happen to Hopetown without him. So you stuck by your principles. As much fun as it is being a ranger, I hope you can start focusing on Constellation business. There's plenty of mysteries left in the good old Milky Way to discover.
I hope you are satisfied with the quarters available to you.
By the way, Sergeant Yumi was looking for you. Apparently, he's got some work.
Ah, well, isn't this a pleasant surprise? I hadn't expected to run into you again. Indeed I am. The success of my previous venture, with which you so kindly assisted, has been brought to the attention of MAST. There is growing concern. Oh my, a bit of an unintentional pun, isn't that? Well, concern that things are going to get worse. The data we gathered points to a definitive trend. The vibrations coming from this tree are increasing in strength and frequency. Because we've never seen this before, not on this scale, we have absolutely no idea what the upper limit is. We don't know when or even if this will stop. It's imperceptible by normal human standards now, but given time. While I hesitate to speculate on the possibilities, well, none of them are good. Yes, and not just humans. All organic life will be affected. Low-frequency vibrations are not uncommon in this species. The vibrations help disperse nutrients throughout the tree. However, normally the vibrations are imperceptible. If the vibrations continue to increase in frequency and strength, prolonged exposure could lead to harmful and potentially deadly side effects. It's imperative we find a way to correct this. There is data regarding other, younger members of the species. Unfortunately, there are some, shall we say, personal issues with acquiring it. Personnel issues, if you understand me. What? No, that is ridiculous. I am a professional. One of the other researchers in MAST, Emilio Hadek, has research I believe could be vital to my work here. He and I don't see eye to eye, and so far he's refused to turn it over to me. I'm hoping that if someone else were to ask, he might be more inclined to relinquish it. What do you say? He's held a grudge against me for years. It's petty, really. I'm sure he thinks that doing this now will hold back my career. He wouldn't listen when I tried to explain this isn't about me. There are bigger concerns. I suggested nothing of the sort. Although, now that I think about it, I confess, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Anyway, no. I just need his data. I am sure that can be acquired without force, or the threat of it. 90% sure. The last time I saw him, he was being assigned to sample collection out near the agricultural areas. I'm sure you'll find him there.
Mind your step. Important research happening here. Could you stand a little to the left? I think you're blocking my readings. Oh, it's important research. I won't bore you with the technical details, but it's critical that I get this done. Trees. I see what's going on here. You're working with Kelton, aren't you? Nice try, but it's not happening. No way. Kelton is actively ruining my career. There's no chance that I'm helping him with anything. Whatever this thing is he's on about, he's just doing it to make himself look good with the higher-ups. I'm not helping him with that. Kelton screwed me over good. Probably ruined my chances for advancing in MAST. I'm not going to forgive that, ever. Of course, we're all in danger. Trees are involved after all. He really won't let this go, will he? Maybe I can make this work in my favor. Okay, you know what? I'll hand over the data. But I'm only going to do so after you've helped me secure a better position in Mast. Oh, don't worry. You're just going to erase some files for me. Make sure I look good next time promotions get passed around. Wait, really? Wow. Okay. Okay. I've gotten a few bad performance evaluations in the last couple of years. Totally unjustified, incredibly unfair. I found a backdoor into the Mast network so I could make some changes to my personnel file. But it turns out the chief engineer knows what she's doing. The only way to get access is from the terminal in her apartment, which is kind of locked. Sorry, that's not on the table. If that's true, seems like... From where I'm standing... Okay, let's just keep this civil. Okay, look. Just hear me out, all right? I really need this to happen. If you do this for me, I can make it worth your while. You delete that data, I get promoted, I'm pulling in a bigger salary. I can compensate you. I'll throw in some extra credits for you, okay? A nice little bonus. But first, you need to get into the chief engineer's apartment. Oh, good. Thank God. You really had me on the ropes there. Listen, this'll be good for the both of us, okay? Just get in, access her terminal, delete the files, and get out. Really simple. Best of luck out there.
Hey there.
Your first day tomorrow?
Yeah, I officially passed my certificate. You're looking at a genuine spaceport technician.
Fancy. You making the large stacks of credits now?
Oh,
consignment shop closed.
Having a good one? I know your type. The freewheeling space ace.
If it isn't Kelton's little errand runner. You have some good news for me? They sure are. I took a peek on the network, saw that things have updated. Great job. You came through for me, so now I'll do the same for you. This slate has all the data Kelton needs. And because I am a man of my word, here are the extra credits I promised.
Not too late to avoid disaster. I hope you have the data. It's really quite crucial. If it's all the same to you, I'd prefer to go on not knowing. I'm sorry if this was complicated. I'd prefer to remain unaware of the details in the event that it comes up later, particularly in a legal setting. And I suppose I'd better verify the data to make sure Emilio didn't double-cross me. But you have once again come through for me. I'm truly hoping that this is the last piece I need to figure out what we can do. Clearly, I am doing all I can to avoid that. Thank you for your assistance.
Last year, a private concert by classical violinist Alyssa DeMille sold for a staggering 70,000 credits. Mr. Singh said in an interview, although we can't expect a repeat of what happened with DeMille, we do ask that everyone open their hearts and their wallets. For this worthy cause.
If it isn't my favorite part-time security officer. Yep. Something just came in. Scuffle over at the Dawn's Roost. Security on site handled it, but now one of them is saying the other guy stole his wedding ring. Problem is, he left without identifying the perp, so I need you to talk to Royce Elgin at the Dawn's Roost. See if you can fill in the gaps. Men like him aren't very generous with their time. They want you to solve a case without ever having to lift a finger themselves. Not that he'd be much of a witness, given that he was still half drunk when he got here and somehow even more so when he left. Sorry, wrong word. Rich people don't get drunk, they get inebriated, which is another way of saying highly unreliable. Good. Report back here when the matter's resolved. Take care.